What's up, good people?
What's up, good people? Welcome back to the Elephant Wisdom Podcast. I am your host, Hark Joseph L., CEO of Sons of SP Phillips. And the Elephant Wisdom Podcast is your podcast for motivation, inspiration, and domination. So dominate or don't. It's up to you. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast from whatever podcast platform you're listening from. And also follow us on our social media pages, IG, Facebook, and Threads at Sons of SPP. And follow our TikTok page at SPP Media, where you get a lot of our content from all of our podcasts and everything from Sons of SP Phillips. Again, that's TikTok at SPP Media. Eventually, we're going to start going live and start having discussions about some of our topics. We're just trying to get motivated and inspired to dominate that next platform of content creation. Today we're talking about something that I just keep seeing all over my timeline, all over Threads, and it's people in their 40s, sometimes even in their 50s, saying, hey, I'm still trying to figure this thing out. Let me tell you something for real. Trying to figure out life does not make you a failure. That does not mean it's a red flag to not get in a relationship with someone or get out. That's not a sign that you're behind on something. That's just pure T adulthood. And nobody hands you a blueprint on how to be an adult. Nobody gives you a school syllabus on what to do. Your parents, of course, give you the best tools that they can for your survival, and you still have to wake up every day and try to make the best decisions for you with the information you have. But again, I see it in a lot of threads and the comments, this feeling that we've missed some secret deadline, and it's not because you actually did. It's because we're constantly measuring our lives against three different ghosts. The people we know, the people we see online, and the version of ourselves we thought we'd be by now. Before we start this episode, I got to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Sons of SP Phillips. Inspired by the people, motivated by the culture, go to www.sonsofspphillips.com to get custom t-shirts and fashion accessories, and also visit our online thrift boutique where we sell new and slightly used designer name brand clothing for men and women. $1 Million Style for the $100 man. You can get up to 70% off on most items. Any purchases over $45 gets you free shipping. So that is www.sonsofspphillips.com. So let's get in. Let's deep dive into this social comparison and the missing pieces of this topic. General psychology research talks about this thing called social comparison pressure. And it's the human habit of measuring your life against someone else's highlight reel. And it isn't a diagnosis per se. It's just a common human behavior. But when you're feeling a little low and you got a little bit of anxiety and you're a little confused on your next step in direction or what you want to do in life or why things aren't working out for you, when you put social media on top of that, that's just like putting gasoline on the fire. The negative effects of SNS, which is social networking sites, the usage on individuals' psychological well-being could be explained by the upward social comparisons that repeatedly occur on SNSs, which in turn decrease user self-esteem and then psychological well-being. And clinical studies like this found on Frontiers in Psychology show that when we perceive our social rank as lower than our peers, it triggers a real anxiety. We start asking these questions like, why them, not me? What did I miss? What's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? The feeling that something is missing from your 40s often isn't about a lack of achievement. It's often a sign of midlife clarity. It's the realization that the path you choose in your 20s might not fit the person you are today, as noted in Erickson's stage of psychosocial development. This stage of life is about generativity, finding a way to contribute and care that feels meaningful to you, not just checking boxes for society. The truth is, most people are improvising. Most people are posting the wins and hiding the losses. When folks say they feel lost at 40 plus years of age, it usually boils down to just a few specific things. Number one, purpose. Not knowing what direction feels meaningful to you anymore. Number two, identity. Again, realizing this old version of yourself does not fit the current one. Stability. Wanting security but not knowing how to build it in this unpredictable world and this unpredictable society. Self-trust. Doubting yourself and your decisions after taking a few hard hits. None of that means you're broken. It just means you're human and evolving. The problem is that We're comparing our messy, behind-the-scenes reality to everyone else's heavily edited feature films. We see their arrival and forget their arrival is an illusion. Your brain misinterprets these digital snapshots as evidence of your own inferiority, when in reality, you're just looking at a different chapter of a completely different book. For me, I personally hit this wall decades ago. I stopped trying to figure life out at the age of 30. I realized that the phrase itself implies that there's a puzzle with one correct solution. And if you haven't solved it by 40, then you're lost. I shifted, and of course, I pivoted. I started going where I like and creating my own professional and personal goals for my benefit. That's the moment you stop chasing the life script and start writing your own script. What I'm really saying is I don't need to match anyone else's timeline. I don't need to perform for the internet. I don't need to live by expectations that don't fit me. And I'm building a life that makes sense to me and mine. That is the only real antidote to comparison. When you decide that your life is your project and theirs is theirs, the whole why them mindset completely loses its power. Furthermore, it's just too damn stressful for me to have that type of mindset, worrying about what other people have. Now, my way of checking out a race at 30 worked for me, but it may not be everyone's cup of tea. If you're feeling at 40 and lost weight, here are just a few other ways to move the needle. Task-oriented coping. Instead of looking at the big picture of your whole life, focus on a single problem. Clinicians often suggest breaking things down into a course of action you can follow today, like finishing one project or learning one specific skill. Variety seeking. Sometimes we feel stuck because we're bored. Research suggests experiencing something new and varied, even something small like a new hobby or a lifestyle change, can help you withdraw from the disillusionment that comes from comparing yourself to others. Support circles. That's always a good bet. You don't have to figure it out in a vacuum. Building a support circle of people who share your goals and can provide the most moral support can help you stop measuring yourself against the perfect strangers. So if you're listening and you're over 40 and you feel like you're still trying to figure this life thing out, welcome to the club. You're not late, you're not lost, you're just living. And the truth is, the people who look the most put together are usually figuring it out in private too. Life doesn't get easier. You just get better at choosing what matters. And if you're still learning, and if you're still growing, and still adjusting, that means you're alive. It means you're paying attention, and it definitely means you're evolving. So stop beating yourself up. Stop comparing your journey to somebody else's. And if you need a new direction, create one. That's what grown folks do. This is the Elephant Wisdom Podcast, and I am your host, Hark Joseph L., CEO of Sons of SP Phillips. The Elephant Wisdom Podcast is your podcast for motivation, inspiration, and domination. So dominate or don't. It's up to you. Thanks for tuning in. And in closing, make sure that you pray along the way.